Okay, so recording is on. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dalmatian PTG. And as usual, in the first day of the PTG, we'll have our retrospective so we can discuss on the previous cycle and try to share some ideas on how we can improve for the next one. Yeah, so I think we can get started with the team retrospective. I think the format will be the same as usual, which is we have some time to fill the questions of what went well, what we can improve, and also we can take some action items from the discussion. And yeah, I think we can take 10 minutes to fill this up, and then we can proceed with discussing this. So yeah, let's get started with adding some thoughts to this Etherpad. In case you don't have the Etherpad link, I'm pasting it. I think it's yeah, I'm pasting it in the chat again. So I think it makes it easier. And please add your name to the attendees list as well. Right. So let's get started. All right. So I think we added a couple of things there, and uh, we ran into the 10 minutes we mentioned. So let's get back to discuss what we have added. So starting with what went well, I think the first topic or the first thing I see added there was added by Gotham. So Gotham, we would like to comment on this, which is the about the outreach internship and talking about like some long pending Manila UI tasks. This is one work that we started a while ago, but yeah, and also they mentioned that I mean the amount of interns we had for this cycle, which was amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, right? So it actually goes to reflect on a couple of things from the community. I want to start with that one. One is how welcoming and nice this place is for new contributors, and I do not see a drop off. Rather, I see lot more people in this community engaged with new people, and by new people we engage in formal internships like outreachy, and we also have university interns from time to time. And this cycle, it just happened to be a whole lot of them. And this is crucial because of the fact that I mean, as a community, we gain a lot. The biggest thing we gain is new contributors and the new energy that they bring in, and also quite a lot of some sort of a developer code knowledge around Manila and its related repositories. Having this is good because especially if they're going to go contribute elsewhere or contribute across OpenStack, they actually understand what Manila is and how to work with that. You know, this sort of thing is always good for any project as it wants to grow. And in terms of the interns themselves, I mean, we've had good times with Outreachy and then not such good times with Outreachy, as with any internship, right? But the focus over here has always been to on the intern and getting them from a place where they are to something better than they were when they began the internship. The focus has always been about their learning, and I think that went great this time. It took a while for Melaku, our outreach intern, to start contributing, confidently. But at the end of it, you couldn't tell that he was just an intern, because he figured out a lot of things. He even enhanced the developer experience by doing a few patches, increasing our talks capabilities and so on. So he went above and beyond his internship task. So it was very nice to see, and I'm sure we are all proud as each one of us has, at some point either mentored or helped with those patches. Um, the next thing is, I think, besides Outreachy, the universities that we worked with this time were Valencia College and NDSU. And I don't probably need to speak about this. I mean, Carlos and Ashley, feel free to add your thoughts on this. I'm engaging with them as a as usual, just because I like doing these things. But you're leading these efforts, uh, so feel free to share.
Yeah, I guess I can speak a little bit about the NDSU students. They've been doing pretty well, really. So their project this cycle was to enable bandit testing, and they came in with some pretty good energy, and they did a lot of investigative work on their own time with Bandit and how the community uses it and different implementations of the testing and whether they wanted to do base testing and what version to use. So a lot of stuff, that they took it upon themselves to look into and then come into the meeting and ask questions and which one do you think is better and how would we implement it, so on and so forth. And I think they have quite a few patches now uh, addressing some bandit test results within the third party drivers. They have their own spreadsheet of all the things that they want to address, and they're putting up patches, and they've enabled bandit testing, or at least it's not merged or anything, but it is running in Python Manila client, Manila UI, and Manila itself. And For Manila UI and Python Manila client, there was like one issue in each, and that was it. So Manila has most of the issues from the test results in Bandit, and they're working pretty steadily to get those addressed. Their internship ends at the end of this month, so I'm hoping that by the time they move on to whatever their careers are, postgraduate, or even just if they're still studying, I hope they go with a lot of really good experience from working with us, and hopefully, if we can get some stuff merged, their names will appear in the next release page, which would be pretty cool for them.
Yeah, totally. And one point about that bandit stuff is, I mean, we've always wanted to do this. Manila is not part of the vulnerability management team's tracking, and it seems like this is one step that we could do ourselves before we formally ask the VMT folks to accept Manila as part of their tracking. And that seems very important for our operators, right? So that they can have one place, one kind of procedure to report security bugs across OpenStack projects that they're using.
Yep,
And so this is very crucial for the community itself. So thank you for doing that mentorship with them, and it's a great experience for them for sure.
definitely.
Yeah, indeed, and it's as Autumn said, like it's something very valuable to us. So it's a great thing. As for Valencia students, yeah, we had a couple of them working with us. So I'm working with a team that's getting to implement some features that we are missing in the OpenStack SDK. And the internship overall is going great. They managed to pick up a couple of tasks and work on a couple of features that we are missing in the SDK. They are very interested on all of these things. So they participate a lot, and they are also very interested. Like I think it's this is their first experience with open source, and they are pretty much loving it. So yeah, I'm like that opportunity is being great, and they have like very different backgrounds, and they manage even to share some suggestions on structuring and stuff like that. So this is being a great internship, honestly. And yeah, can't wait to get some of this implementation going. I think the internship ends at the end of this month, if I recall correctly. I don't remember exactly the date. I need to take a look at the schedule, but yeah, I think we'll manage to sort out a couple of APIs in the SDK code base, and that will enhance our coverage there. So great thing, honestly. And it's always nice to mentor fresh blood, and also seeing like someone very energized working with us in the project. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the how the Valencia College internship is going for the SDK part. And yeah, looking forward to finishing it in a high.
Very nice. Thank you. And I think, I mean, it's really cool to keep these college internships going. And with Valencia, this is the first time, and I suppose they're going to have a hackathon soon, so we might be doing something real cool over there as well. Um, I do want to add that I think Ashley, Victoria, Mari participated in the Grace Hopper celebration event again. Um, so
Yeah, we did. It was a 1 day only kind of like a level up lab, I think it was called, and it served as a like a introductory, not lesson, because it was interactive, but we introduced a lot of people, a lot of women to open source, and specifically OpenStack, but just in general open source. And we got, I don't remember the statistics, but we had a pretty full room in the beginning, and then as time went on, people dropped off with timing issues. But there were like more than 20, possibly even more than 30 at one point, just listening to us, and we went through DevStack setup and exploring the development environment that OpenStack provides and how to get started, where to find bugs, things like that. We got a lot of pretty good engagement there. I never went back to see if anyone like did more than the sandbox that we did day of. Actually, I should probably check on that because it was pretty cool. Some good questions, good interactions. So yeah, it wasn't the open source day that we've done before, but I think it was still a pretty good experience for uh, first time contributors.
Thank you.
Great.
Yes. I mean, especially like, I mean, giving somebody their first open source experience is always a fulfilling thing.
Yeah.
All right. That's about it for that, Carlos.
Thank you. Thank you, Gotham. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, next one we have on the list is in the end, the light at the end of the tunnel for Me 2.0. We've been willing to complete the migration for a while now, and this cycle for us was crucial. Like I think we had Stephen coming over in the previous PTG, and he asked us to please work on this. And I mean, he would have limited time to pick up a couple of the things, so we had like a shorter timeline, but we didn't manage to complete it like in the beginning of the cycle. And I think there were some issues showing up with the share instances, which we needed some more help from different experts. And then at some point, Stephen invited Zeke to join him into finding out what was going on. And then Zeke pretty much helped to figure out what were the issues, and the issue with share instances were solved. But I would like Gautam talked about that. Yeah, so that's the next thing, like on 1.12. So please, Gautam.
No, yeah, no, you covered it all. So we are, I mean, we're very cognizant of the fact that we promised one of this is a thing for the Slurp release that we just shipped. So we wanted a Caracal release to ship with SQL Alchemy 2 compatibility. Which means that if folks wanted to use SQL Alchemy 2 and whatever else comes with that, right? So if you're upgrading to SQL Alchemy 2, you're also going to upgrade from Olympic version 1.x to something. And also there's a SQL Alchemy migrate library as well. So it was all tech debt that was piling up on us. And it was not just Manila, there were other projects as well. But I think the gaps in the other projects were easier to solve. But I think Stephen, as usual, kicked the ball out of the park. For him, it's been a long running effort with Manila. Like his first batches for the SQL Alchemy migration landed in Z. So it's you can count this 4 releases worth of work that happened to do the migration, and we're close to being done. So the real migration with Manila is in Dalmatian, but once we've merged all the patches, we're gonna do a squash and a backport to Caracal. Because we did promise that because Caracal might be a long you're going to see Caracal for a while in the field. We want to make sure that folks will be able to use that with SQL Alchemy 2.0. Right now, there are mandates preventing its use with the help of the upper constraints, but that will not be you know uh, followed in the field for too long, especially in this production environments. I mean, since the SQL Alchemy 1.4 stream is officially deprecated and dead, we should do the backport. So that'll be the next thing we'll hear about, and we'll be reviewing and merging. But things are very very close. So I mean, just a very happy update from our end on that.
Yes, indeed. And later this week, Stephen will be joining us to talk about this as well, and also to talk about some good practices. Like we have some questions for him to ask him about good practices. Also, we are trying to get Zeke to join, so that would be a nice conversation to have with them. They're also like talking about other things as well, and I think Friday will be like the first part of Friday on the PTG will be kind of like all things database because we have a couple of topics touching on that, like migrations and the SQL 2.0. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I would say. I don't have anything else to add about this as well. But yeah, it's great to see the work that Stephen's put on this. And yeah, can't thank him enough for continuing to push and to lead this effort for us. It's been great, and yeah, we owe him a lot for getting this completed. Yep. So next one is I think from Vida, and it's about the Bug Squash or Docs Hackathon, which is like the event we promoted during the end of the previous cycle. And yeah, Vida, would you like to share more about that?
Sure. Um, Yeah, thanks for this great bug squash. Carlos driving it, and we did have some backlog. Uh, Actually, it was 20 some odd bugs that were sitting in the backlog and had to do with documentation. And this really helps enhance the user experience. And by the end of the Buck Squash. We did have good participation. Quite a few people participated, and we actually helped close north of 10 bucks. So I just wanted to raise awareness to this, and hopefully we'll have more of these in future cycles and in this current cycle. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good number, but I think yeah, I would say it's 10 and counting because I think there are some changes we haven't merged yet. And yeah, we would like to pursue some closure for those. So
Right.
yeah, really excited
There'll be
about the
more.
results of this. And
Excellent.
yeah, some
Excellent.
of that documentation we will be able to backport because I mean, some of the features were merged a while ago, right? And that would allow us to backport some of the documentation changes. So that's another nice thing, and we can pursue the back parts over the couple um, days or weeks. So yeah, great thing. Thank you for bringing this up, and it's actually great indeed. Um, Good to see the bug backlog for docs at least being reduced, and also like the bug backlog being reduced as a result because of that. Next, we have on what went well is increased contribution from people in different affiliations while reviewing the feature or bug changes. This is like, I mean, a slightly better thing because I could see people picking up some reviews, especially I think, I mean, looking at a couple of changes, and that's kind of like the behavior we need. Like we can, continue looking at the changes proactively and reviewing each other's change. That will help everyone with the reviews. So yeah, this is like a slight improvement, and I was happy to see like folks picking up the reviews and sharing their thoughts on other people's changes. Yeah, it's been great, and I think we still have a lot to improve on that. And we can talk about that again because I mean that's been a topic for the past couple of PTGs or the past couple of years that we have been struggling with the amount of reviewers we have or the activity from reviewers. But I can see like this cycle we had a couple of reviews. Like I can showcase with a couple of examples, but yeah, don't want to put anyone at the spot. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I would like to add. Don't have anything else for what went well. Do you guys would like to comment on something? All right. So taking the silence as no, I think we can move on to the next part, which is what we can be improved. First thing is FFEs allow very little room for deeper testing. And yeah, I think this talks about itself. Gotham, would you like to share your thoughts?
So it's a recycle theme. I suppose one thing that we uh, didn't do, I think, was, um, I mean, it could probably be because of the holidays, right? So that's the next thing in the list. So this cycle, we had a lot of code that was ready to review, but reviews didn't come in enough in time, and they were because of the holidays perhaps, and then we had to go through the FFE process. And the FFE process means that you just have, like, we wouldn't want to keep something waiting for more than a week. So we dump a bunch of reviews, we do a lot of back and forth and back and forth, but we know we're spending time, not giving it as much justice as we would if in case we were able to take all that time since the code was ready. So it gets into a very bad cycle at that point. So I'm wondering if, if we could have some cognizance of that for the upcoming cycle. Maybe it gets better in these odd cycles because you just don't have as many, um, but it's something to be aware of.
Yeah, that's something I was kind of thinking as well. Like, I think for the previous cycle, I think it was 2023, the one cycle, we managed to keep to start the reviews earlier because I think we didn't have a lot of, and I think the holidays played a big part on it. Like we didn't have a lot of holidays during that part of the year. So yeah, I think that definitely helped. But we kind of need to think about like strategies, like for the next ones, especially for the next, I think 2024, the two, or sorry, the next one after that. So E in that case. So I think we need to keep thinking about the strategies because I mean, and one of the strategies would be like one thing that I added like after that, like I think the last thing I've added, which is trying to schedule the collab reviews a bit earlier and try to do it more proactively. We can get to that later. But yeah, I think we need to take a look at that and try to work on the reviews as soon as we can. And I mean, if that, like the approach we were taking for the previous cycle, proved like, that the holidays can distract us a bit, then yeah, there are definitely some actions we can take to mitigate that. So that's kind of like food for thought. I think this cycle we will have like again a good metrics for comparison, but not too early to start like with the suggestion with some suggestions and also like trying to add a couple of trying to make the collab reviews a bit earlier and doing them more proactively in the cycle. So and also, yeah, I think Hikeseen also likes that idea because I see like he added a kind of a follow up comment on that, which is uh, we can start scheduling them at least like a month before the release because I mean the backlog will have we have always a lot of blueprints and things to review in our bug code and it gets very very busy. It creates it can burn out the reviews very easily, the reviewers very easily. So I think yes, that would be a very nice thing to work on. And yeah, would you like to add something else?
No, that's a good point about the mid cycle. We've had that thought in the past, but we haven't, I guess. And because the kind of focus keeps changing cycle after cycle, and when we run into this problem, we try to address it, and then we don't need that mid cycle check in. But maybe what we should do is formalize it. And I think Cinder folks do a good job here, right? They always have a mid cycle. If you don't really have content, it just becomes a shorter mid cycle. So maybe we should think about that. Have a mid cycle, discuss this, so we're all on the same page. We can just like how we do review focus week after week, we have a face to face or a synchronous mid cycle to kind of harp on that same point. Let's try it. I'm on favor of that.
Yeah, I think Ashley brought it up about the midi cycle idea, and I definitely like it.
Ah,
Yeah,
sorry, I probably tacked Hyaxine on that because you said Hyaxine through something else.
yeah,
My
no,
bad.
no worries, no worries.
No, thanks, Ashley.
Yeah. No,
Go
I
for
was
this.
just thinking of this because usually right before the retrospective, I like to go back into the previous Etherpad, so the Caracal Etherpad, and most things we did, address or I saw patches or chatter during the weekly, but not everything. So it just seems a prudent thing to do. Just have a mid-cycle check-in.
Yeah, that's another great strategy for us, honestly. That way, I think it can help us to be on track with everything, but also, try to review our priorities and things like that. So yes, definitely. I think I can even add that to the cycle schedule. And this time I want to work on the schedule way earlier. Like I would like to propose our schedule to the official schedule today so that we can review it during this PTG. And I think it's easier for you to give the feedback on the dates if we are in the PTG and rework on the dates because everyone is already working together for that. So yeah, I am willing to propose that today, and then I can bring it up later in the PTG so that we can share our thoughts. But definitely a great idea. Thanks for sharing. And also, I've seen great idea about. I mean, at least a month before, and we can likely try to add that to do that more proactively. Okay, I think with this we managed to cover a lot of these things. So I can take some action items here for the discussion. But would you guys like to add something else about this?
When it comes to scheduling the collab reviews earlier, do you mean like an organized event, like what we do with the bug squashers, and just have whoever is proposing a RFE or something just has a time slot to share their progress and ask for reviews, and we dedicate that time to that patch set or whatever in progress changes are in there, and then I mean we won't always have a laundry list of things that need a collab review, but is that kind of what we're thinking?
Yeah, it's kind of like the. I think we had some in the past, like the collab reviews, which is pretty much trying to have the owners of the chain sharing with us what they have been working on and some of the
Mhm.
decisions they took, and especially some key aspects of their changes. So yeah, that's. I think it's pretty much focused on that for that scenario,
Mhm.
and we can have like a deadline for proposing that as well, like making it part of the feature proposal freeze, for example. Like you propose your feature and then you already have to schedule a collab review for the next, like, week, let's say. I think that way we already can try to create, some sort of like responsibility for scheduling that. And yeah, I think that could speed up things, but that's pretty much like the focus is like just like we were sitting down in a room like for a bug squash or a hackathon, but only to discuss like a specific change that someone is bringing up.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, so I'll take some action items. Do you have something else to add about this? Okay, taking silence as no. uh, And let's go to the next one, which is encourage more community participation in important activities, which such as collab reviews, backlog resolution, and bug role rotation. Vida, would you like to share your thoughts?
Yeah, so we have already touched base on most of these above. Uh, the one thing that I'd like to um, hopefully revisit this PTG is to maybe gain some interest in community members to participate in the bug czar role rotation. And just wanted to mention it here as a reminder. I think we have distributed this, Carlos, you and I, and we're managing it pretty well. But it'll be good to have some fresh contributors in here. It'll be a really good experience for folks. So that's the last bullet item that I added over there. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughts, Vida. Yeah, and it's been kind of like difficult, like all of those, because I think it falls into the same thing, at least like for Bugsar, and it is like it's been difficult to get someone, for example, to the core team, to get there. So yeah, I think that could be also one of the activities we use, to get people more participation, and then we can definitely use that participation. But yeah, all of those topics, they we for sure have to work on them, like the community participation, and try to share the importance of them. And for books are, yes, we've been talking about this for a while, and I think there we at some point we have discussed some strategies that we can take. Uh, yeah, and we can share with the community, and we can share them like with more people to see, if there's someone interested on taking the Bugsar role in the future, so that we can, uh, work with the person, and getting them to ramp up, and then we can shift the person in the role. But also, like, it's a very important thing to keep rotating these roles. As for example, let's say the PTL role. Like I think I've been the PTL for a while now, but we also need to always think, about like PTLs, and how important it is to rotate these kinds of roles. So yeah, um, indeed, that's something we can improve, and we can, work with more people to figure out a couple of these things. And for the collab reviews and bug or backlog resolution, for collab reviews, I think we can work with the reviewers are trying to bring up the importance of, like, participating on these, because I mean that's a very important moment of suggesting things in a change and discussing, because it's kind of like a 1 hour of PTG, I would say, but out of like the actual PTG, where everyone gets to go through a change and discuss that change, like in deeply. So I think that's something I can work on. We like trying to raise the awareness for that, and I think some of these actions from the action items also might help to understand, make people understand, or to help people understand how good that would be. In bug backlog resolution, yes, I think kind of the same thing, but yeah, likely trying to have more than one bugs cache or hackathon per cycle could be helpful too. Yeah, I talked too much already. Do you guys have something else to share?
No, that's a good
Thanks,
summary. I
Carlos.
just wanted to add one thing. Thanks, Vida, for identifying these three areas that we could. I think one thing, with the collab reviews from the previous idea that we could take in again is enough advance notification, right? So if you have a scheduled slot, it's likely that people can make better decisions to come and participate. We do have a lot of clicks on our YouTube channels after, so we know people are watching something because they're just not available at the time that we've scheduled a collab review. Why did that happen? Probably because we send an email the previous day saying there's a collab review the next day or something, or maybe in a couple of days. Maybe it's just not enough advance notification. So maybe even with the bug squashes, I've seen this happen where we've discussed over a period of time that okay, this might happen this week, but we've had to move it in the last minute, and we send out an email saying there's a bug squash or a docs bug squash on a Friday before it actually happens on Monday. And just the nature of how things get scheduled. But if we're mindful about that, that might also be driving down our participation numbers, just because people are not able to slot it in into their calendars at that late. Um, I mean, bug squash is less of a problem again because we have multiple days. I am hoping people won't be able to listen, but if somebody's on a vacation for that week, um, not much they can do, right? Um, so maybe advanced notifications, one thing we can change about that. So we tried this a couple of cycles ago, right, Carlos? We put it in the schedule, and we try to stick with that. But last time we went back to being dynamic about it.
Yeah.
Again, I think holidays have something to do with this.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to add about the bugs role rotation, I've started on a doc, basically adding and describing the process. I'll be continuing to work on that, and hopefully, if we have a candidate that's interested in the role, will help me fill in any gaps or any assumptions. But that document should be added. Yeah, will be available. And if anybody's interested, of course, there'll be a transition period. I will work with the interested candidate. So I just want to let you know that there will be a transition period to kind of fall into the role. So,
Thank you, Vida. Yeah, that's gonna be very nice to have. And also, thank you for all of the work in adding all of these. And the work you've been doing as Bugstar for Manila is amazing. So thanks for that. And yeah,
thanks, Carlos. Well, everybody knows that we're a very collaborative community. So, obviously, uh, but I figured I'll just add the details so people know that there's going to be plenty of onboarding and documentation for any of these roles. Thanks.
yeah, thank you. All right, I think yeah we had it. We covered all of the list. Do you guys have something else you'd like to share? All right. Okay, so we are finishing this meeting in time. I think that didn't happen a lot for the previous PTGs for the retrospective. We always ran a couple of minutes late. So yeah, I think we can wrap this up. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for joining. It was a very productive thing. Thank you, a very productive meeting. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and also some ideas. Yeah, and I'll see you again on Wednesday when we will be discussing a couple of other more technical topics and get back to our regular PTG agenda. We will be starting at 14 UTC. So please join us. We'll have 2 hours of discussions on Wednesday and Thursday, and on Friday we'll have 3 hours. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Carlos.
everyone. See ya.
Perfect. Thank you.
Bye now.
Everyone.
gonna click